Gazans don't like Hamas. There's a pretty good poll from October 6th that says to us, Palestinian poll, that says to us Hamas was seen as a corrupt, run-down, petty dictatorship that had ruined their lives. You don't have to, by the way, even if you hate Israel, Hamas entered the Egyptian civil war in 2013 and shut down the last open border Gaza had. Hamas is bad for Gaza, even if Israel is the worst. But the one thing that polls tell us Gazans do appreciate about Hamas is the forever war with Israel. And so support for Hamas is complicated in the minds of Gazans. It is about, when it's about Israel, Hamas gives them dignity. And when it's not about Israel, Hamas is the worst thing in the world. And so I understand that. That is a very human response. Some Gazans participated. This is a debate we're now having about UNRWA, about the UN relief agency in Gaza. On the ground, it's all Hamas. Why is it all Hamas? Because you literally can't get it hires Gazans. It hired something like 13,000 Gazans on the ground. You can't get that job if Hamas doesn't agree that you get that job. And so it de facto controls the ground game of the biggest aid organization in Gaza.
It functions like the mob.
Right. And is it nevertheless, is it still an aid organization? Yes, but Hamas controls it. Hamas in that sense controls the schools. Half of Gazans, 50% of Gazans were born after Hamas took over in 2007. So Hamas has raised this generation, taught these schools, controls the spigot of aid, controls the economy, hasn't ruled, but has the only part of its rule that it actually works on, other than building those tunnels, is indoctrination. And so you really have a population that has no other story but Hamas's story. One of the interesting points about the Saudis and the Emiratis saying we're going to come clean up, one of the things that gives me hope, Prime Minister Netanyahu published a Wall Street Journal op-ed a couple months ago where he said Gaza has to be demilitarized, Gaza has to be this, Gaza has to be that, and it has to be de-radicalized. And that's a word that made a lot of us pause. I'm not sure Israeli Jews know how to de-radicalize a Sunni Arab society. What does that even mean? Do you know how to do it? I don't know how to do it, right? But the Saudis do. They've done it. And so one of the messages that we're hearing, and I hope they're also sending it, and it's not just us optimistically hearing it, one of the messages we're hearing from the Abraham Accords countries, the Abraham Accords is not about some simplistic geopolitical maneuver. It really is a deep part of overcoming Israel, sort of instead of having to destroy Israel, because that's the beginning of Islamic redemption, just ignoring Israel. What the Saudis really want is to have Israel be another Switzerland. Who cares? Then Islam becomes a little healthier. And so they have actually offered us to come into Gaza the day after and actually do this work of giving Gazans a new story. A Sunni, Arab, religious, authentic. They're not coming in on an Israeli tank, which is what a Palestinian Authority coming into Gaza would be doing, and therefore automatically delegitimized by the population. There would be an outside Arab world stepping in and saying, we know how to de-radicalize. We have been fighting this exact war in Saudi Arabia and the Emirates for 20 years. That's the offer. That to me is the future.